Running out of time. As a matter of introduction, my name is Florian Choya. I'm ambassador of the Republic of Kosovo to the Republic of North Macedonia. I am privileged to have been given the opportunity to moderate this distinguished panels, and I would like to thank Madam President Osmani Sadrio for giving me the opportunity to moderate the panel and to bring back me personally into the echelon that I belong to, the defense sector. The panel we will be having here with distinguished speakers is titled Uniformed and Unyielding, Women Leading Change in the Security Sector. So the panel will discuss about the role of women in the security sector in general and security issues in particular. We are more than delighted to have representation from 6 countries. But before we come to the panel, I am delighted to invite the Minister of Defense of the Republic of Kosovo, Mr. Ayub Macedonci, to have his opening remarks. Minister, the floor is yours.
Dear participants of this very important activity, I will try to be short in order to allow more time for strong ladies and strong military and security officers and leaders that will follow me. Before I go more deep on this topic, I would like to emphasize that this topic the topic of women in armed forces is very special to me personally, as I was lucky to meet my wife in the trenches and while serving in the Kosovo Liberation Army during the Kosovo War. The role of the armed forces in a democratic society has evolved throughout history, and with that, also the role of women in armed forces. Before the 23rd century, the involvement and the role of women in armed forces was limited, both in terms of numbers that they were represented in the armed forces and also the specialties in which they were engaged. The Second World War is the event that has emphasized the importance of the engagement of women in armed forces. And since the democratic societies have increased efforts in higher integration of women. Given the fact that women consist half of the general population, their role in crisis management and sustainable development of our force is not only important, but also irreplaceable. Because of the specific circumstances that the professional defense capabilities of the Republic of Kosovo were developed, and the fact that we are in the process of building a contemporary armed force, the increase of the number of women in the army is seen as the main factor to contribute not only to strengthening the role of women, but also to strengthening the overall defense capabilities. Because in general, and especially in our country, they have been and continue to be a determinant factor of major changes. At the moment we speak, the percentage of women in the Ministry of Defense and the Kosovo Security Force is close to 10%. And they are engaged throughout the structure of the MOD and the KSF, including General Inspector of the MOD KSF, who holds the rank Major General, Head of Human Resources of the KSF, the Commander of our Military Academy, and many other prominent positions within our structure. While in our commitment as the government for the professionalization of the KSF, a significant number of attendees at professional training are women members, with many of them being awarded for their excellent performance. Just last week, our cadet officer Endrita Brahimi, who attended the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, was awarded with the Commander Coin for her extraordinary performance. Despite the efforts to advance and promote an environment that offers opportunities and support for all without distinction, which does not exclude women, but treats their inclusion as a value, as such, their result and performance should be recognized and accepted. Our focus will continue to be encountering challenges that require our attention for improvement. We will continue to engage ourselves in the elimination of any obstacle that in any from stagnate the advancement of the position of the woman in defense sector. In this regard, as society, we still face the challenges of gender stereotypes, where military is seen more as man's profession. Such a mindset produces general effects that contribute to unequal environments which disproportionately hit groups, in this case, women. Therefore, we are focused on giving even more attention to the information campaigns about the possibility of developing a military career, with the image of the military woman at the center. In this regard, we are very determined that the composition of recruitment and selection boards reflects a gender perspective as balanced and representative presence. Military women today operate in better environment due to the continuous efforts to improve the conditions that they have faced over the years, including recruitment procedures. All these undertaken measures aim the increase of the efforts to encourage the integration of women in the defense sector. This is because women have proven that they are fully competent to perform all tasks for which they have the will to commit it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Minister Macedonci, for your opening remarks, and I use the opportunity to praise the Minister of Defense for their efforts to enhance women participation in all levels of the ministry and the force. Without further ado, and strictly on the military manner, I invite the panelists in the following order. I invite Major General Manushaci Sheu, Deputy Chief of Defense of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Albania. First. I invite Major General Irfete Spahiu, Inspector General of the Kosovo Security Force. I invite Air Commodore Saskia Siemensa, Royal Netherlands Air Force and Director of Security at Ministry of Defense of the Netherlands. I invite Brigadier General Fadzila Abdullah, Director General Defense Operations and Training Division, Malaysian Armed Forces. I invite Brigadier Mariana Plesha Čadonic, Head of Stratcom Department, Croatia. Last but by no means least, I invite Catherine Bourdeau, Commissioner General, Ministry of the Armed Forces of French Republic. So, as you can see from the composition, we have not only the highest ranking officials and military officers of the countries they represent, but we have representatives from the 6 countries, and we look forward to hear from their direct experience on the topic, which I repeat is titled Uniformed and Unyielding Women Leading Change in the Security Sector. This is certainly a topic that I have been dealing a lot in the past, and I repeat, I'm privileged to be moderating the panel with some of the panelists I've happened to work to be part of processes or even education processes. So the overarching question that I make to every panelist here is, to what extent and how does women shape security sector nowadays? I have provided clear instructions to have each of the introductory panel, each of them to provide introduction in 4 minutes, within 4 minutes, so we give the chance to the audience for question and comment. So I invite General Sheu, Major General Sheu, to throw the ball and start with her introduction.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Major General Sheu from Albania. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much, Madam President Vjosa Osmani, for this excellent organization's forum about peace, women, and security. For me, it is a privilege to be here with my delegation from Albania, many colleagues, officers in the second row. About your question, because the time is limited, it is just a little short time, but I would like to try to respond to these questions. Resolution 1325, it is most important for all the women under the uniform, all the section security and defense. About Resolution 1325, I bring here one case, for example, in our military Albanian armed forces. In our defense sectors, we have 15.1% females under the uniform. They are soldiers, NCO, and officers. They are worked in different sectors. They are right now in many missions, peacekeeping operations. Let me bring here one example we have in United Nations in North Sudan, because in this conflict area it is very difficult, but for 3 years we have females in these very, very difficult missions. About Resolution 1325, in Ministry of Defense and Military Armed Forces in Albania have a lot of progress. This is two parts. The first, action plan. You know the action plan, it is most important, and for first time in my country is signed in 2018. And second part, it is the strategy. We are in minorance with our colleagues men. We are 15%, about 85% they are men. You know, never we fighting about the men, but we are able to do the men, we are able to do the men do. We are females in the other side, we are strong, we use the different weapons, we are done and we have been in many missions, peacekeeping operations, and we are participants in our difficult jobs. On the other side, we are female, we are sensitive, we are mothers, we are sisters, and together we have one aim, to contribute for peace, security, and stability. I have one short message. To be together, we are joined. To be together, we are strong. To be together, we are more. To be together, we are peace, women, and security. Thank you.
Thank you, General Sheo, for your opening remarks. Of course, I strongly believe there will be questions meanwhile that will be addressed and will be interested more on the state of play in the Albanian Armed Forces on the topic. I move on to the second speaker, to Major General Ifrit Spahiu, Inspector General, with whom I have had the privilege to cooperate in the past. Major General Spahiu used to be also commander of Tradok, as far as I remember, and was in different positions in the Kosovo Security Force. Major General, the floor is yours. And I understand that Major General Spahiu will be speaking in Albanian, so those that would need translation, please take the simultaneous equipments.
Faleminderit, ambasador. Të nderuar audiencë, vërtet është privilegj me mbri këto ditë pas një kohë dhe eksperiencë që përmbajmë edhe duke u fokusuar se ku kemi qenë 25 vite më parë. Do të mundohem të jem shkurt, orientimisht më duhet të përmend edhe pjesën e historike, gjithat kontributin e femrës shqiptare. Ne si shoqëri konsiderojnë se gjinia femrore nuk vuan nga inferioriteti. Prandaj kjo ka ndihmuar që gratë dhe vajzat të jenë pjesë edhe çlirimit të vendit tonë. Kjo ka ndihmuar edhe në themelimin e institucioneve të sigurisë. Ne si vend kemi kaluar jo rastisht të përmena vitin 25 vite më parë. Si çdo vend tjetër pas luftës apo konfliktit edhe Kosova me ndihmën e partnerëve ndërkombëtar ka filluar ndërtimin e institucioneve të sigurisë. Tani forca e sigurisë së Kosovës është një forcë multietnike dhe profesionale. Është forcë vullnetare dhe ndërtuar sipas standardeve të ndërveprueshme me NATO-n. Në forcën tonë vlen të gjitha ligjet e Republikës së Kosovës, cilat garantojnë të drejtat e gjinisë femërore. Në strukturë të forcës sigurisë Kosovës, numri i gjinisë femërore nuk është i garantuar ose i rezervuar, pasi struktura është e orientuar në kualitet të jo në kuotë fikse, e cila duhet të arrihet. Mundet mos të jetë numri madh ai përqindja që ministri më pare tha, por të gjithë këto ushtare, nën oficere apo oficere ka kaluar proceset e rekrutimit apo gradimit në gjitha format, sikurse kolegët e tyre meshkuj. Sot, në forcën e sigurisë Kosovës, mund gjeni gra dhe vajza që punojnë gjitha sektorët dhe njësitë e forcës sigurisë Kosovës, pa marrë parasysh vështirësitë e shërbimit apo gjinisë ushtarake. Bazuar në përvojën time 29 vjeçare, mendoj se përfaqësimi i gjinisë femërore në sektorin e sigurisë, në këtë rast, ushtrisë, është më se i domosdoshëm. Kur e mendojmë këtë që femrat përbëjnë gjysmën e popullsisë, pjesë kritike e shoqërisë, prandaj edhe duhet të jetë pjesë kritike e paqërujtjes. Integrimi i perspektivës gjinore në ushtri është thelbësor, sepse unë orientimisht ndaj në një do të përmbajmë parimeve të drejtave të njeriut të pranuara botërisht, sepse kur si burrat ashtu edhe gratë përfshihen në procesin e vendimarrjes ka rezultate më të mira. Dhe përdorimi i perspektivës gjinore dhe integrimit në përgjithësi rris efikasitetin operacional. Kontributi i grave në ushtri tani më nuk është një kohë që duhet përmbushur, por duhet përfshihet si vlerë e shtuar ushtarake, por edhe dita ditës edhe si domosdoshmëri e sukseseve operacionale. Kjo çka kemi arritur deri sot nuk na është falur, por e kemi arritur me mund, punë dhe sakrificë, edhe pse nuk ka qenë dhe nuk është e lehtë shërbimi në uniformë. Faleminderit.
Faleminderit shumë Gjeneral Spahiu për fjalët tuaja. Sigurisht që sikurse për rastin e forcat armatosura të Shqipërisë, besoj që do të ketë pyetje konkrete edhe për forcën e sigurisë Kosovës. So I switch now again into English, and I have the great privilege and honor to invite Air Commodore Saskia Siemensma, Royal Netherlands Air Force and Director of Security at Ministry of Defense of the Netherlands, with whom I have to share we have been jointly part of the Royal College of Defense Studies in UK in 2019 and 2020, and being part of epistemic community, part of a small world, we have happened to meet again after 4 years and now even be in one panel. Saskia, I invite you. Saskia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for your nice introduction, Florian. And also thank you for having me here, here in this venue, but also in the panel. And it feels good and safe to be in the company of such accomplished and like-minded women who've all had challenges in their careers, different challenges, because I feel that I feel a bit spoiled by being from the Netherlands Air Force and not having suffered all the the hardships that you have in this region. But still, I think we have a lot in common too as women, and sometimes it takes you to step out of your the things that you are used to realize where you can make a difference. And I have to admit that for almost half of my career, I was always trying to be one of the guys. I didn't want to be different. I didn't want to be treated differently because I thought that the only way to get accepted fully was by being like them in all respects. But then I realized that I really can't because I'm not very good at press-ups. I'm not a very good runner. I'm quite clumsy. So however hard I tried to be like them, I just couldn't. And I think that even if I had been able to meet them in all respects at the same level, I wonder if they would have allowed me to be on the same level. Because, and that's a short story I'm going to tell that someone once told me, and it has made such an impact on me. And it's about the differences between men and women and boys and girls. When boys play together, they try to exaggerate. So one says, I can throw this ball that far, and the second says, I can throw it even further, and the third says, I'm able to kick it all the way to the moon. And then a girl comes in and she says, that's impossible. So girls are basically killjoys, and boys don't like that. So if we try to join them in their play, we have to adjust to their rules of the game. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be me. I didn't want to be someone else. And moreover, I thought that if you try to be someone that you're not and to be like them, what use is it when it comes to diversity? Because diversity is about differences, and it's not about being all the same. So if you tend to include women and you force them to be like the men and to be as good as the men in all respects, then that's a foolish thing to do, because women are so much better at other things in general. And halfway in my career, I realized that I should make a shift to doing what I was good at and trying to make a difference in doing what I was good at. And one of the things that I found that I'm good at is raising questions that other people don't. And in meetings, several times I made a difference by addressing issues that other people or men didn't raise because they just weren't aware of the issues and the importance of those issues to the challenge that we had that we were facing and the solutions that we came up with. And it does feel a bit uneasy if you are the only one who asks a question that no one else asks, because you think, is it me? Is something wrong with me? But they are just embarrassed or surprised that someone raises a question that they didn't think of. So I thought, well, that's the way to make a difference. And from then on, I continued doing that, and it got me to the point in my career where I'm now, and that's not because I succeeded in being one of them. So in general, women are good at addressing things, topics that men don't. We raise questions that other people don't. We also try to collaborate much easier and more natural than men. And I realize that I'm generalizing men and women, and that's not what I want to do. But like for this session, we agreed to join together to get to know each other a little bit and see who was on the panel. And that's what women do. We look for each other, we try to join forces, we try to get to know each other better, to be able to be more effective as a team. And I think that's that's one of the main benefits of having more women in your organization and the way that women do make a difference. I didn't look at the clock. Do I still have half a minute? Yes, of course. Okay, so one more thing about what that needs to be said as well, and that goes to all the brave men in this room. Because women, peace and security seems to be always something of women, from women, about women. But it's so necessary that there are men who support women and who support the idea of diversity and equity. So I'm really pleased to see so many men here who are brave enough to openly admit that they think diversity is important. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saskia, especially for the fact that you have shared your personal experience. I have the honor to invite here our guests that came all over from Far East, Malaysian Armed Forces. Brigadier General Fazila Abdullah, Director General Defense Operations and Training Division. The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening all. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for inviting. But once I'm here, I realize that my knowledge in we are very young. The Malaysian Armed Forces is very young in WPS. Yes, we involved in peacekeeping, but in terms of WPS itself, we are still very at infant stage. In fact, even though the WPS has been introduced in year 2000, but I only know about it in year 2020. That is also because of my post, where I'm in charge of the training, where I found out there were a lot of WPS-related courses, especially organized by the US and the Australian. But all the while, the course has been attended by the guys. And the guys, when they came back, they keep quiet. They didn't do anything. So since then in year 2022, I enrolled myself for a course that organized by the Canadian Armed Forces about WPS, and I realized, oh my God, we are so left behind. But luckily, I have a CDF who is very pro for WPS, and because of that, we managed to have a community team for the advancement of the women in the armed forces. But there was still a lot of resistance because to them, to the men, we should be happy what we have. And to them, there's no discrimination. To them, all the problem is limitation by ourselves, not because of the service, because it has been proven in most of our cases. Most of the young girls, when they are doing very well in the service when they were a bachelor, but once they get married, unfortunately, it deteriorated. So our armed forces, the ladies in the armed forces, there's only 7%, and we aim for 10. And from we have lady officers, close to 1,500 ladies officers. And from there, we only have 8 colonels and only 1 big gen. So 68% of them are at the captain and the major rank, which is at the peak of their career, but at the same time, it's the time for them to start their family. So we made a study and we found out that they like the military life. They said they enjoy military life, but unfortunately, the support system and the support element does not support them to continue to remain in the armed forces. So we are trying to work on it. And at the same time, we are pushing to have our janat, okay? But we could not process because we do not have the authority to have it, because all the while WPS is under the control of the Foreign Affairs. So every time they go for a meeting in the UN, they only ask about the peacekeeping, nothing about WPS per se, and that's why until now we do not have NAP yet. And we have been pushing for our NAP for the past 2 years, and I'm very happy that I finally managed to get a slot in Hawaii under in the Indo-PACOM for a year, for a month, for them to help us to formulate our NAP. So hopefully by end of this year, we have at least a draft of our NAP. And I was told by Madam Lana to mention about a little bit about Myanmar. Okay, on Myanmar, as you know, the ladies in the armed forces in Myanmar is only 0.2%. Okay, and as you know, they are trying to go for the peace process, and a lot of things have been done. And ASEAN have a principle of non-interference of domestic matters in the member state. But now, we cannot afford to leave it on their own. It's not purely about internal issues. Malaysia itself now is having a black blast of having 200,000 of Myanmar refugees in Malaysia. So, yes, there's effort have been done for the peace process, but unfortunately, the peace process is creeping as slow as a tortoise. So, now, and then we think that the participation of Myanmar women should be considered to quicken the strike. For Myanmar women to participate effectively in peace process, they must be given opportunity to upgrade their capacity and experience in participation in security sector. Okay, I know that to have the woman in the military organization is not about to improve the woman equality, but rather, actually, it is to improve the quality of the force. With that, since I'm in the training sector, to me, never stop learning. Knowledge is power. To overcome the past, to change our own situation, to fight new obstacles, and to make better decisions. So, it's hoped that international support, including funding for programs addressing sexual violence, technical assistance, capacity building, are always needed and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brigadier General Abdullah, for your opening remarks and for bringing the experience of Far East, in this case, not only of Malaysia, but also Myanmar. And so we move on with the fifth speaker. I invite now Brigadier Mariana Plesha Čadonić, who is head of Stratcom Department Croatia, and I understood that Brigadier Čadonić served as defense attaché here in Kosovo and in this part of the region. So, Brigadier, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. So, first of all, I'm really grateful being invited by your President, His Excellency Osmani, to be here. I'm honored to be among these generals, really respected from their countries, and definitely I'm be grateful and thanks to be here, very welcomed, and feel here as at home because of Ministry of Defense and Kosovo Security Force friends and Croatian ambassador to Kosovo. I really am here as at home. Thank you very much for the first. Going back to the main subject, Croatian Armed Forces strongly support gender equality on each level in the Army. Even in the Ministry of Defense, we have a committee for gender etiquette. I can refer how many percentage we have in Croatia. There is not flowers, I must say. Even we have a lot more percentage in the Ministry of Defense, something between 35 to 40 females in uniforms, on leading and the command position. But in the Army is a little bit more than 15%. So we will be on the path to increase this percentage in the armed forces. I really hope do. I will say something from my past. More than 20 years ago, I was asked if I would apply for a military observer in a UN mission UNMOGIP in India and Pakistan. So until that, no one from Croatia as a female officer didn't go there. So I passed several courses, and 3 months before I needed to go, I was called in the Ministry of Defense by our Department for International Relations, and they asked me again if I would like to go, because they received a letter from the mission, and there we had 2 colleagues prior to me, male colleagues, and they refer that there are still ongoing violence between 2 countries, and there are some casualties, and the conditions for living were poor, and that is a different culture, and it will be hard to adjust female officers to these conditions. So for more than 4 months, I was prepared myself to this mission. In my head, with my family, yes or no. This is a 1-year mission. It is not easy to go abroad without a family. In different country, as a first female officer in the mission, even in the mission, there never ever been there female officer. So I needed to be first. So I said, in my mind, I said, I will not change, so I will go. Nothing will be, say something which I will be not going there. So my decision was strong. As a first, I was wearing this uniform. I have never met any distraction in the mission according to these words what was said prior to me. Anyway, and anyhow, I was advantaged there because of some violence things from both sides of the countries. There happened some casualties, and we needed to go through some investigations. So only me could speak with women in this investigation. My male colleagues, they couldn't do this. So I have advantage to do this. So after me, it will come again Croatian officer, again Croatian officer, not just in that mission, in some other UN mission, as well as NATO mission. So this is my word to all female officers. Don't be afraid. You go straight, be courage, you wear uniform, and if you are strict in your mind, you will finish your mission in the end as a final and conclude. Thank you very much for now.
Thank you, Brigadier Plesha Čadonić, for your experience and for the fact that you have shared especially your experience in a peacekeeping mission as the first woman, that, as far as I understand. Without further ado, I invite General Catherine Bordeaux, who is from the Ministry of the Armed Forces of the French Republic. The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm very happy and very honored to be here today. That's my second time in Kosovo, and I'm very impressed by the way your civilian authority and your military authority are pushing the agenda of WPS. I'm currently assigned as special advisor on gender to the Minister of the French Minister of Defense. And in this job, I used everything I learned during my 33 years of service, everything I experienced, everything that frustrated me. And during these 33 years that have shaped me and are shaping my mission, I've seen a great evolution. We've started, when I first came in the forces, we started with restricting quota, where there were only 3 jobs for 120 officers in the Air Force Academy, to now a time where we have 22% of the laureates, of the candidates that are being selected that are women in the global academy, officers academy, 22. That means that between 1/4 and 1/5 of the future officers are women. we have 17% of women in the French forces. That's something we are very proud of, and we are especially proud because we didn't have any quotas, we didn't have positive discrimination. We had objectives, we had policies, and we worked hard. And we couldn't do anything if the women were not strong enough and competent enough to achieve that. Last time we checked on operation, we had 10% of the forces on the ground in theater of conflicts that were women. And they were not there for the show. I mean, we were in Mali, we were in Afghanistan, 10% of the military there were women. No quotas. So that's what shaped the French vision of how we can promote women. And on a more personal note, I had 2 tours in Afghanistan, and what I saw there helped build me my vision. I saw young girls, 10 years old, who were sprayed with acid because they wanted to go to school. And on the other hand, I saw women, Afghan women, learning how to fight and becoming special forces units. And that was huge. So that's everything that shaped my vision of how we should go forward. That's a lot of frustration and a lot of dedication. There is this cold rage inside, and on the other hand, the conviction that there is hope, that we can go forward, that we can change things. And the conviction that women are exactly at their place in the military. Because women are bringing not only what every other man bring, that means, hard work, dedication, fighting spirits, expertise, professionalism. I mean, like my colleagues, Dutch colleagues said, and most of you ladies have said, we are selected on our talent. We're not selected on whatever quotas to show that, okay, we're good at promoting women. So it's all about, doing the job like the guys. Differently, possibly, but doing the job. But what I think the reason why we need women on top is because they have this specific life experience that makes them want to change things, that makes them want to build societies where women can raise their children, and especially their girls, into, strong-willed people, women or men. Sorry, I have a flu. People who can live the lives they choose just because they live in a better society. So that's why we need women in the military, because they have this little extra life experience that's absolutely essential in the world we are facing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, General, for sharing your experiences from the perspective of the French Armed Forces. And wow, so we have managed in 35 minutes to have, in a very military manner, introduction from the 6 speakers, which give us about 15 minutes, because I'm asked by the organizers to have it in 15 minutes, a round of questions and the final answers. This is actually what you call lead by example. So women lead change here in terms of the timekeeping and in terms of their contribution here. So I invite the audience for a question to the panel here. Whoever is breaking the ice, please introduce yourself. We will have one round of questions, I hope, and we will have the last intervention before we move on to the conclusion of the panel. Who is going to really break the ice here? Okay, please, the gentleman there. Okay. Sorry, I have the light here and I can't see, but I see there is an interest. If you can introduce yourself, please.
Generals, thank you very much. That was so inspiring. My name is Lone Kjeldgaard. I'm from Denmark, and I'm here in my capacity as the Chief of Staff of the NATO Advisory and Liaison Team here to Kosovo. First and foremost, I was struck by the resemblance of your experiences, how hard it has been for all of you to break the glass ceiling in your respective countries. And we have generals from so many different places and different career paths. And of course, the obvious question is to ask, what advice would you give to the young ladies embarking on a career in the security sector? Or what was the biggest challenge that you overcame in your career? But I'd like to take it somewhere slightly different and to say, if you were given unlimited power for one day, and perhaps looking at some of the cultural differences that is also represented on the stage, what would you change to further not only the recruitment, which I don't believe is a challenge for most nations, but the retainment of women in the security sector? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your valuable question. Is there any other question? And I hope there will be, actually. There is another, okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. My name is Private Nadine Felber. I'm from the Swiss Armed Forces here in Kosovo as a LMT for the KFOR. And my question is more addressed to especially the military personnel from Kosovo, from Albania, from Croatia that we have here, because just of the conflict that was fairly recent, or the conflicts that your nations endured during, the couple of years ago, couple of decades ago, and we talk a lot about, violence against women, conflict-related violence against women. Does this legacy of, this violence that has happened to your nation's women still impact the armed forces today, or the motivation to join armed forces in your countries today? Like, how do your countries still deal with this legacy? I would be very interested in that question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. Is there any other question? If not, I will misuse the opportunity to make the third question so that we can take input from all of you. When we talk about this topic, we usually talk about the quotas, we talk about the numbers, we talk about statistics, about the percentage of general participation, women participation in the armed forces. What we talk less is the extent to which women are represented in all levels, layers of the armed forces, be it in the tactical, operational, strategic level. Could you share your experiences on the extent to which women are represented in all levels of the armed forces? So now we have three questions. The third is mine. The first is the question from NALT team, which is to remind you, what would you change if you would have the possibility to change based on your experience, and what would you do in terms of the retention of women in the armed forces, if I'm not wrong? And the other question from the representative of the Swiss Army here in part of KFOR is, did the violence in the past, the war, have impact in terms of the participation and representation of women in the armed forces? And she made particular reference to the representatives here of the region, namely Kosovo, Albania, and Croatia. So I propose you have 1 minute each to feel free to choose one of the questions, or even more, to answer the three questions that we have, and this will be your last remark in this panel. I will turn around and we will start from the French General. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I think I'm going to answer the first one. What would I do in order to retain women? Actually, it's what I'm doing, because at the job I'm doing right now is all about retaining women. As you saw, we are recruiting a lot, but we are losing a lot too. There are many reasons for that. Most of them are linked to the requirement of the military career, which means that as an officer, you're moving a lot. You're being assigned every 2-3 years. And when a woman gets a family, she may have she may find it difficult to adjust to that. So what we're building, we have specific plan dedicated to military women. And we are adjusting all the processes, all the rules, in order to help them adjust to the mobility. So we are creating an organism that helps you move and take care of finding childcare and finding a new place and finding a house and helping you with registering to whatever school you need. We are trying on the work side, we're helping women when they go to war college, for example. They find it difficult to have children because war college come after 15 years of career. That's when you're 35 and you want to have children. So we have adjusted the limits so they can have a baby before, during and after, but they can pick the time where they can have and they want to have a baby. So we've been working, and there's a plan that was written in 2019, and I'm rebuilding it, and we're going to issue another one this year, and the idea is about how to retain women, and that covers from the personal family side to the military side, and we're trying to help retain them. Over 1 minute, sorry.
Yes, a bit, but thank you. I hand over to Brigadier Čadonić for, please feel free to answer one of the questions in 1 minute if possible.
In Croatian Army, we don't have a prescription, and we have volunteer recruits. Now we are in a thinking process of having again. Why? Because we have a lack of new cadets. But we don't have a lack of female cadets. We have even increasing. So according to our network and socializing with students just before applying as a cadets, we have increasing of female population in our students. And why? Because we building our capacity and integrity in some way of in Navy as well, and in actually Israel part, and also in the Army. So there is a challenge for them. So we put this as a challenge: be a Croatian officer or soldier, to be part of a new way of thinking, new way of having integrity for your country and keeping your country safe in the future, as well as we are part of NATO. And as we having anniversary of this year, joining NATO 15 years together with Albania as well, we have also 75 years of NATO all together. So this is all together in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier. General Abdullah, please, 1 minute.
Okay. Remember just now I said that they commented about young girls when they are single, they are doing okay, but once they get married, they are not performing. So I replied once to my chief, and I said, don't blame the girls, sir, but blame the husband. So in our country, before the men can get married, we were supposed to go for a religious class. In that class, unfortunately, they always say that the wife have to listen to the husband, blah 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 blah. So now, if possible for me, for the man to marry, you know that you're going to marry a woman, especially a pilot. I'm talking about for a pilot. Usually, the pilot, the man should. You want to marry her, so you make sure her career. You don't make her to feel guilty of having to choose her career and her family. Because this I like to repeat about my own experience when I was sent to Australia to do for my masters. I was told that I can go for a course, but my husband cannot follow me. And then when of course, being a wife, I have to ask my husband. When I asked my husband, when I told my husband what happened, my husband said, "You go, I'll take care of the children." If he were to say, you want to go? How about the children? I would think twice. But because he answered, "You go," so I went and I did well. So what I want to do, if I have the power, all the men has to go through a special course. Not only the wife have to go, but the man has to go for this special course. Thank you.
Thank you. Saskia?
Right, I'm taking the first question. If I was in power for one day, I think I would organize an experience day to make people aware of what it's like to be in the shoes of the other person, and to force men to experience what it's like to train with equipment that doesn't really suit your body or doesn't fit, what it's like to be in a group of women and saying something really brilliant and everyone looking at you like, no, it's a bad idea. And 5 minutes later, one of the women says the same thing and all the women think it's a great idea. And it's not to tease or to bully men, but I think sometimes you just need to have some experiences to be aware of what's happening and how it impacts people. So I think that would make a lot of difference if you had one day to experience what it's like.
Thank you. Generale, shumë shkurt ju lutem.
Nëse kisha mujt me përmbledhen se përpara jush është një oficer që kur është bërë klasa e oficerëve pas luftës ka qenë e vetmja femër në klasë. Edhe çdo hap që ose çdo rang që e kemi kalu me qenë e vetme gjithherë është desht me pas një qëllim. Andaj çdo herë inkurajoj prej eksperiencës time që vajzat, femrat, gratë të kenë një qëllim edhe të udhëheqin me shembull. Këto që e kemi mri për 25 vjet nuk është pak për ata që kanë kalu në këto procese, por megjithatë krahasu me vendet e tjera kemi shumë punë për me bë. Kurse sa i përket pjesës tjetër, impakti i konflikteve ndoshta ka qenë, po në retrospektiv pas 25 vjetëve, unë kisha thënë që ajo që kemi mri është e kapshme edhe institucionet e sigurisë, sidomos forca e sigurisë është në rrugë të mbarë me udhëheq me shembullin, por edhe pjesën tjetër me mbajtjen në shërbim të femrës nuk është e lehtë shërbimi në uniform, po megjithatë me procedura ose trajtimi i barabartë. Na e dim se si jemi të njëjtë, po trajtimi i barabartë dhe fuqizimi i femrës është një e ardhmja që ose forcimi i asaj shtytjes me majtë femrën në uniform.
Faleminderit generale. Atëherë kret për fund generale Shehu. Shumë shkurt ju lutem.
To be military female, it is very, very strong. Not it easy. Believe me, I'm serving for a long time my country. I'm proud for that. But all during the time, I encourage young generation, young female, if they have passions to do this job, it is the great job. It is very excellent job. And many females, young females, new generation, would like to do this job. For me, not it easy to care for myself, to care for my children, for my husband, for my home, etc., etc. But together with my family, I have a lot of positive energy. Because the first support for to do the job excellent, it is the support of family. We are altogether military females. We are in strategic levels. We have dignity, we have a lot of responsibility, and it is most important to be all together, to have a lot of integrity. And if we work together, we are very successful. In my country, in 3 levels, tactic levels, operational levels, and strategic levels, not are same. In many sectors, have much and more percent female. For example, in finance, in logistics, in medicals, in IT, have about 35, 20, or 40, 50% females. But in strategic levels, we have many colonels, not have a lead, for example, director, commander, etc. We have much and more commanders in tactical levels. I would like to work so much, to work harder, and together to support each other, because we have much and more value, and we have to share our experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all 5 generals and the brigadier for their contribution. This is a never-ending topic. This is a topic that we could not exhaust in 1 hour or less than an hour, but I'm really grateful to all of you for your contribution, and this panel really deserves a big applause. So I invite you for applause. Thank you.